Hanny Time. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Here's Charles Hanagriff.
And a pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hanny Time 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Hanagriff, along with Mario Jerez, Taylor Sharp, Mike Scarborough, TigerBait.com with us in about 15 minutes. Dwayne Colucci from Las Vegas, South Point, and the Rampart will be with us to talk about all the action this weekend. There's a ton going on this week and into the weekend. So we'll see what Vegas thinks about all of that. That's coming up at 12:30. LSU basketball going to tip here in about 30 minutes. They're in the Cayman Islands. They are playing Akron. That game's on Eagle 98.1, but no TV for that. There's some website or something, but no real TV for that. So you want to catch the game, we'll be on Eagle. So Lane Kiffin had Lane Kiffin had some fun on Twitter yesterday. John Sokoloff, who is an anchor at WCBI in Mississippi, put out a tweet that Lane Kiffin plans to step down as Rebels head coach on Friday and head to Auburn to become the Tigers' next head coach, according to sources. Decided to say the Tigers haven't officially offered the job to anyone yet, so Lane to Auburn is happening. Story soon. I don't know John Sokoloff. This story's got a few problems to me just reading it. And for the record, let me go. I don't know if Lane Kiffin is going. I don't know if Lane Kiffin is staying. But I do know how these coaching searches go. And I do know that things that are true at 12 o'clock sometimes aren't true at 1:30. In fact, most of the time that happens. So I'll let Sokoloff own the story. But when you say that Lane Kiffin is going to step down as Rebels coach on Friday, when Alabama and Auburn are playing in a game, right off the bat, the story seems a little bit fishy to me. Which is not to say that Kiffin won't end up at Auburn. That could very easily happen. Kiffin, for his part in this, and he absolutely seems to relish his stuff on Twitter, says that's news to me, and then he did a nice little trolling tweet about the television stations, that Sokoloff was going to go to another television station and they hadn't replaced him yet and all that stuff. But it is a reminder that it is Jimmy Sexton season, and Jimmy Sexton, the most powerful agent in all of college sports, earns his money between pretty much the middle of November and the middle of December. It's always a Merry Christmas at Jimmy Sexton's house because he's really, really good at this. And he doesn't really even have to do this anymore. Do I think that Jimmy Sexton is planning rumors about Lane Kiffin going to Auburn? I don't. You know why? He doesn't have to. Jimmy Sexton was so good at his job for so long that his job is essentially done for him now. Think about it this way. Mario, you cover high school sports, right? You do all right. So in high school, and I covered high school sports, did play-by-play for years, and covered it really extensively, knew a ton of coaches, knew a ton of administrators, all that. A lot of high schools got accused of recruiting. Okay, that's as old as the sport itself. The really good ones never had to do it long term. There were some high schools, I ain't gonna mention any names, they were so good at it that after a while, kids just came to them. They didn't have to go out and solicit. We use a different word than recruit. They didn't have to go out and do that stuff anymore. It was built into the system. Those schools were so good that the parents moved, the kids moved, they just went. It was built in. It was automatic. That's how it is with Sexton clients now. He doesn't even have to plant the stories anymore. I mean, for a while he did. He was so good at it. He created so much paranoia and fear. Oh, my God, we're going to lose our coach. Got to offer him more money. The other schools, we might not get him. We got to go offer him more money. We got to offer him more money for his staff. We got to upgrade our facilities. We got to make sure that his perks are there. We got to make sure he gets this many hours on the university plane. We got to make sure that he gets this many, days off, that he doesn't have to go work the rubber chicken circuit. I mean, this goes back over 20 years, and Sexton's really, really good at it. You can say Saban was the first mega contract, but there have been so many since then that this stuff is just built in for him. Everybody knows that Lane Kiffin, is a target here. Sexton, all he's got to do is answer the phone. And like I said, the paranoia of schools has gotten to such that they're terrified of losing what is perceived to be their top target. And they're terrified of losing a coach that is anywhere from winning big to just mediocre, that contract extensions have become the rule of the day. They don't even have to be Jimmy Sexton clients anymore. Coaches that are doing a very mediocre job, like Eli Drinkwitz and Jimbo Fisher, are getting mega extensions. Why? I got nothing. I mean, I understand why A&M put the extension on the table for Jimbo. They didn't want LSU to come after him. But if you're A&M now, you're thinking, man, that wouldn't have been such a terrible thing. For some reason, Missouri put a big contract extension on the table for Eli Drinkwitz. Kentucky just did the same thing for Mark Stoops. Now, Mark Stoops has done a great job at Kentucky, and he deserves the money that he is making. But I'm here to tell you that if the right job comes along, that extension wouldn't matter. Same thing for Drinkwitz. Same thing for Fisher. If the right job comes along, and the same thing for Kiffin. If the right job comes along, all the extensions in all of the world are not going to matter. They're going to leave. Saban set this up with Sexton when he came to LSU. If they fire me, they have to pay me all this money. And if I leave, I don't owe them anything. I mean, it was genius. He got them to agree to it. And now it's become almost industry standard. So if you're Lane Kiffin, you can't lose here. He could have come out and said, absolutely, I'm not going to be the Auburn head coach. Saban did that when he was with the Dolphins. That clip still, runs around every year at this time. So Sexton has put together, such an apparatus that they just let the media, and now that they've got social media, because when he did this the first time, there was no social media. Now he's got social media for him. It just ramps everything up. All they got to do is sit there, and Kiffin can't lose. Every day that this lingers out there, every John Sokoloff that goes out there and puts a tweet out just increases Lane Kiffin's value. Maybe at Ole Miss, maybe at Auburn, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But it's Jimmy Sexton season. I put out a poll on Twitter. I've never put out a poll on Twitter. I did last night. What is the most problematic thing for Power 5 ADs today? I mean, this day in November. Transfer portal, NIL, or Jimmy Sexton? We got a couple hundred votes so far, 6%, NIL 37%, transfer portal 17%. So, according to the 200 and whatever people that have voted in this thing so far, everybody in your program could technically hit the transfer portal, and that wouldn't be as big a problem as Jimmy Sexton. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily true. Let's look at this from Kiffin's standpoint. Is Auburn a better job than Ole Miss? Yes. Have they let this story fester for the last several days because they want the pot to increase? Yes. At both places. If Ole Miss is going out and getting NIL dollars, then Auburn, they're trying to catch Auburn. And I don't know which school has more. I would guess Auburn, but I don't know. What is in these NIL collectives is very, very hard to pin down. They're just abstract numbers. It's OPM. It's other people's money. So it's very difficult to say they've got this and they've got this. Salaries, yeah, this is apples to apples. Staff, Apples to apples. Facilities, yes. NIL dollars? I don't know. So if you're Lane Kiffin and you're sitting there and you could keep the Ole Miss job or you could take the Auburn job, what do? Let's look at the NIL dollars first, because this is a very significant thing right now. But let's say Lane Kiffin signs a 10-year contract, which has become amazingly more and more common. And LSU did it with Brian Kelly, okay? I don't know that I'd want to put a 10-year contract on the table, but maybe that's what it takes. The NIL situation today is going to be very different in 10 years. It's going to be very different in 5 years. I think it's going to be very different in 2 years. The universities and the NCAA have not stopped begging for some kind of legislation to control it. Now that the midterm elections are over, you may see some movement on it next year. I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know it's going to be different. Is it going to be regulated to the point where the collectives will all be equal? The collectives will be abolished because there'll be some other system in place? I can't speak to that. But I do feel very confident in saying that NIL collective money is very, very, very important today. It's going to be very important next year. In 5 years, I would suspect that there will be some kind of regulation. Less than 5 years. Some kind of regulation where you just can't go out and spend whatever you want on whoever you want. I don't know how it gets there. It's going to be like, dragging molasses through sand, but I think it will eventually get there because the school, what is happening now, the schools all agree, is not sustainable. You can't just keep, think of it this way. You were a Texas A&M booster. Texas A&M came to you and said, we got to have these players, give us this money and we'll win. We got to have this coach, give us this money and we'll win. And they gave the money and they're not winning. So when you go back the next time, it's a lot harder sell. So is NIL the most important thing to Lane Kiffin? Well, it might be today. He certainly hasn't been cryptic about resources. He takes every shot at Texas A&M that he can get publicly. So I know it's important today. But if Kiffin's looking down the road, is the next job his last job, or is the next job the job he's always wanted? Is NIL going to be the biggest factor when he's 5 years into it? Probably not. It's probably going to be regulated by that time. So what do you look at? Your ability to win. Win more at Auburn than you can at Ole Miss? Yeah, absolutely. But Lane Kiffin, who is still a very young coach, despite the fact that he's been in the game for a long time, may have his eyes on another job. Is the head coach at the University of Texas safe long-term? He is not. Is the head coach at the University of Oklahoma safe long-term? He is not. Is head coach at the University of Florida safe long-term? I ain't pushing him. Took a step backwards last Saturday for sure. He is not. And then you get to the coup de grace. Who, besides Nick Saban's family, knows better what's going on in Nick Saban's head than Jimmy Sexton, who happens to represent both of these guys? So, if there's one person who's arrogant enough to think that he could take the Alabama job when Saban steps down and keep it going, it's Lane Kiffin. So if he thinks for 1 second that Saban is anywhere near the end of the road, this year, next year, year after that, he may say, hang on. I don't want the Auburn job. I want that job. I'm willing to wait another year. I'm willing to wait another 2 years. Or Jimmy Sexton could tell him, you know what, Nick's going to coach forever. Take the Auburn job because the Alabama job ain't coming in no time soon. This is the month that I want to hear Jimmy Sexton's phone conversations. Really do. It would be amazing to be a fly on the wall in Jimmy Sexton's office these days because it's Jimmy Sexton season. And he's got a wonderful array of resources at his disposal for his clients, of which Lane Kiffin is one. It's going to be entertaining. We'll take a break. When we come back, Mike Scarborough at TigerBait.com. We'll talk LSU and Texas A&M. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
Well, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. Get your supreme rice now. for your holiday feast. You got a big group coming in with your family. You're going to be able to stretch your food dollar with Supreme Rice. So many different dishes that you can prepare. Maybe it's a gumbo. Maybe it's rice dressing. Maybe it's your own personal selection. But make it with Supreme Rice, whether it's the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, or the jasmine. Supreme Rice has been delighting their customers since the 1930s, and you're going to be supporting our Louisiana farmers at the same time. All of our Supreme Rice grown, milled, and processed down in Crowley, Southwest Louisiana since the 1930s. Easy to get at all of your AG food stores, all of your Walmarts, including your Walmart neighborhood stores, your Winn-Dixies, and your Rouse's. If you're heading over to Rouse's, we'll be doing pregame there on Saturday before LSU and Texas A&M. So, more information, great recipes, some unique stuff. Go to supremerice.com.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura.
Jimmy out and Mike Delicano for the Tuesday evening edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Mike Anderson's on Lee, just off of Nicholson. That's Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LSU tipping off with Akron here in about 10 minutes at the Cayman Islands Classic. We're bringing Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. Mike, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. What is your number one concern or priority for LSU heading into the Texas A&M game, other than a win, obviously, but your number one concern or priority heading into this game?
Well, I tend to like Brian Kelly's record in November at 19-0 and going for 20 on Saturday. I was just on a Texas A&M show a little while ago, and they seem to think with A-Chan and others back that they're going to make it a football game, and I tend to think they're probably right, regardless of how bad A&M's been most of the season. This is their bowl game, and I think they're going to come out and give it their best. And I mean, look, even during their losing streak, they had multiple games in there that they were in it, and things got away from them. I mean, 24-21 against Alabama. So I think LSU just needs to do what they do. I do maintain that a lot of what we've seen out of LSU this football season is what Jake Clinton and his staff have done, how well LSU plays in the fourth quarter every week. And I haven't seen at any point this season where I thought the other team was either in better shape or better prepared or ready to close out a football game better than LSU.
All right. Well, since you were on an A&M show, I'll ask you for the pulse there. Since September, their lone win came over UMass, who's one of the worst teams in all of college football. The offense has, for the most part, been in neutral. The last time we saw A-Chain, he was in a walking boot. That was about 10 days ago or so.
Right.
It strikes me, Mike, as a much different team than the one that gave Alabama all they wanted, certainly than the one that beat Arkansas or played Ole Miss close. It seems to me like they have faded significantly over the last month.
Right. And so is it wishful thinking on their part that team will be back? And if so, what in what version of it is it? And, you know, look, there's no doubt. I think a lot of LSU fans are oblivious to how much A&M fans talk about LSU, and LSU's on their mind, and it's not reciprocated. But with the season they've had, this is certainly a game that would rinse a lot of the bitter taste out of their mouths going into the off season, and Jimbo's going to do a thorough bloodletting next week. So.
Can you tell me why? I mean, just your opinion on why the obsession with LSU. I mean, look, it's got to be more than just geography. I mean, they used to be in the same league with Arkansas once upon a time, and they don't have, you know, this kind of animosity there. Alabama has run the show in the SEC West for most of the past 15 years, not all of it, but most of the past 15 years. There doesn't seem to be the obsession there. Lane Kiffin takes a shot at him every chance he gets. Doesn't seem to be the obsession there. So why LSU?
Well, I think depending on the age of the Aggie fan, that you still got a group of them that go back to the 90s and say Joe Dean owes them money and they want to exhume his body and make him cut a check for canceling the series in the late 90s, or when DiNardo got there, 95. After that game, they dropped the series and they claimed money's owed to them. But 8-2 since they've joined the league. Guys like Harold Perkins making them sick.
I can understand them being upset about Harold Perkins.
A lot of them are in the Houston area, and there's a lot of LSU alumni that they work with. So I think that's a part of it.
Yeah, I think the alumni angle is really, really strong. And I would certainly, if I were a Texas A&M fan and knew that Harold Perkins had once been a commitment to my school and was now a commitment to LSU, I would be pretty upset too. Probably similar to the Florida people who had to watch Jamar Chase, be a big contributor in that 2019 season in the LSU Florida game. So I get that for sure. Mike, let's talk about LSU's running game, because it is the one nugget here where LSU may be a little bit short. Josh Williams sat out last week. Noah Cain certainly did a very nice job. John Emery, I would imagine, is probably hearing quite a bit in his ear from Frank Wilson this week. And, they may have a fine with Derek Davis, but that's going to be a thing for next year. Kelly told us that yesterday. So how concerned are you about the LSU run game?
Well, I think it is concerning because you've got no choice with John Emery. I think if it was a typical running back core, and it was as loaded that the LSU typically is at that position, you probably never see John Emery again. But I don't think you have any choice but to utilize him. But hopefully Josh Williams is back and ready to go, and they're able to use him the majority of the time, and then use Noah Cain. But it's a shame because Emery obviously has the talent when he gets in the open field, but you just can't. A guy that puts the ball on the ground as much as he does, it's just a no-go.
You know what I was thinking about this morning when I was kind of going through my notes on the run game and some of that stuff. The Saints have had to kind of patch things together offensively, alternate quarterbacks, do a lot of different things with Taysom Hill. I was thinking about what LSU did with Jamar Chase in 19. There were times where they would line him up in the backfield and hand him the football. Might have happened once, maybe twice a game, but those might be big plays. I'm looking for things to do with Kayshon Boutte at this point. Last week I suggested maybe he could return punts. Actually, one of our listeners did, and I just kind of ran with the idea. And I know he didn't end up playing last week, but you know what? If you get Williams and you got Cain and you need 3 carries, hey, teach him one play. Put Kayshon back there and put the ball in his hands, just as something else to put on film that Georgia's got to worry about.
Yeah, I can see that.
And maybe it's a jet sweep. I'm not saying necessarily line him up as a tailback. Maybe it's Malik Neighbors. Something just a little bit. A 2-play, a 3-play supplement. Something that might pick you up a key first down they're not looking for. If they do need another running back, Williams and Cain may be able to shoulder the load the rest of the way because the quarterback runs the ball so much. I'm just throwing things out there because things are going real well right now, and they've got some options here in these next 2 games.
Well, I know one thing. I'll leave the press box and heading down elevators, and you're seeing TV monitors along the way, and I'm seeing the multiple runs that Derek Davis had, and he didn't look too bad to me. So I'm curious to see what that future is going to be. But obviously that is a big focus of this recruiting year, and with Caleb Jackson and Trey Holly coming in, I think it's highly probable they bring in a transfer portal running back as well. That whole room's got to be rebuilt.
Davis, Mike, obviously you cover recruiting. I went back and looked up his high school numbers. His best high school season, he accounted for 2,000 yards, 500 on the ground, 500 through the air and 1,500 on the ground. So it's not like the position is foreign to him. Did anybody recruit? Do you remember anybody recruiting him as a running back instead of a DB?
I did not. In fact, it was until he was getting handed the ball last week. I was in the dark as far as him at that spot. But, that's like a lot of guys, playing quarterback and being recruiters at corner. I mean, we see it all the time. But, if you're going to do that, put some guy back there and put it on film, maybe it should be Harold Perkins. But I don't think Matt House is going to let him go to that side of the ball.
No, I'm not messing with that dude. Not that he wouldn't be great at it, but
but there's no doubt in my mind that Harold Perkins is the best running back on the team.
Yeah, and even Brian Kelly said that. Like, we put him there and trained him there. He would be the best. One more thing about the A&M thing, since you were on the show. I'm just ask it straight out. Do they think Jimbo is back? And I know $86 million. Do they think Jimbo's back?
Well, I mean, what did I hear the other day? 3 years from now, they owe him 55.
Yeah, it goes down. It goes down about $10 million a year, $10 to $12 million a year, roughly.
I mean, can you imagine? We remember the uproar when LSU paid Orgeron $17 million.
I remember the uproar when they paid less 12. So
exactly.
This is 87 and 3. You bring up a great point. Okay, you can.
Do they have a mass communications professor in College Station that's going to be complaining about the library needing to be rebuilt? Do they have people like that over there?
Probably. I'm sure there would be. Listen, if he gets an $86 million buyout, or even next year it's 75 or 74, whatever it is. Yeah. Yes, there's going to be an uproar. I mean, people don't like it when other people win the lottery and they don't. Yes, there's going to be an uproar no matter when he goes. So the thing is, do you think he can turn it around? It's very hard once the snowball, accumulates and it starts rolling downhill. If they keep him, what are the chances that he can turn this thing around?
I mean, is this a deal where he has to have some infuse some charismatic, like maybe former head coaches as coordinators, and kind of step back and be a figurehead? And because where A&M a year ago looked like they were on the rise in one of the sexiest destinations for recruits. Now it looks like the pits of hell. So I don't know who he's looking to bring in, and of those guys, the first questions they're going to have is, well, how much are you going to stick your nose in the room for me to do my job on the offensive side of the ball? But this is something they've been talking about for 3 years at least at Texas A&M.
Well,
I mean,
that's the first thing.
His offense is the closest thing to Les Miles that's still operating in the SEC.
No argument. And if the first question is how much are you going to be involved, the second question is what's your job security? Because they might not be able to fire you after next year because of the money you're owed, but they could certainly fire me. So, am I going to be a one and done? Are they going to have to scapegoat? I'm wondering if they scapegoat DJ Durkin because they can't fire Fisher, and the crowd's going to expect, hey, you got to fire somebody, which I don't necessarily think is fair to the staff, but que sera, they're going to have to fire somebody. So you try to bring in a coordinator there, and he's going to say, listen, what's my job security? I might be a one and done. So then you have to layer his contract with a buyout, which just complicates things. But that's A&M's problem. Recruiting, as we inch closer towards signing day, Mike, and the playoffs into their third week, who are you going to see this week?
I'm still trying to make up my mind. Obviously, U-High Newman is a draw. Obviously Catholic High and Carr and all the others that are out there. It's going to be very interesting to see how which one I choose to do. But there's also beyond 3 or 4 games, the rest of the bracket really isn't that good from a guy like me going out to see recruits, because there's more than 2/3 of the bracket are teams that don't have SEC talent.
Gotcha. I don't know. When's the last time Newman came to U-High? Because I know I called an Eli Manning game with Newman against U-High. So you're going back, better than 20 years. Have they been back since? I know they were at Episcopal last year, and I don't know if Newman has played U-High in Baton Rouge in that time period. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I don't remember. I don't recall it. But I see U-High really laying the wood to him, and Keelan Moses being like Harold Perkins.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see. Mike, enjoy your Thanksgiving. We always appreciate the time.
All right, y'all too. Happy Thanksgiving. Mike
Scarborough from TigerBait.com. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Dwayne Colucci from Las Vegas. Big action week at the Sportsbook. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
Acura and Infiniti pre-owned. The benefits are so numerous, and it's why I continue to buy my vehicles, have for a long time. When you get a certified pre-owned vehicle from Acura, you're going to know it's been through a 167-point inspection, so it is already up to code. You're going to get up to a 6-year unlimited mileage warranty and a complimentary first-year basic maintenance package. A Carfax vehicle history report comes with a 3-year buyback guarantee, free 3-month trial subscription to Sirius Satellite Radio. Emergency roadside assistance. This is so important if you've got younger drivers or older drivers that would need some assistance if something were to happen to the vehicle. That is included. Hey, listen, I had to exercise mine just a few weeks ago, and complimentary service courtesy vehicles mean that you won't have to arrange transportation or wait around when your vehicle is in for service. Transparency in pricing, family-owned and operated. Acura and Infiniti of Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every
On Wednesdays, OTB, we give thanks by giving takes. That's right, we celebrate Takesgiving. Get you ready for an incredible weekend of college football. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we head out to Las Vegas, the South Point, and the Rampart, and our friend Dwayne Colucci. Colucci, how you doing, man? There's a horn.
What's up, Charlie? Happy holidays, my friend.
Happy holidays to you as well. I know that there's a big feast with an Italian flair to it coming Thanksgiving at your house. So, hey, listen, my audience is going to put up with soccer talk for about 30 seconds, so that's probably all we got here. But I got to ask you about that upset overnight with Saudi Arabia. I was looking, they beat Argentina, one of the pre-tournament favorites, and Dwayne, I was looking, I was seeing some plus 2,000s on Saudi Arabia. What did it go off at the South Point and Rampart, and how much action you guys take?
Yeah, it was in that range. You know, it's kind of hard because everybody has to, bet it the night before. South Point is 24 hours, and we have 24-hour capabilities with our kiosk as well. We do have to shut down, though, for an ordering period that does come close to a 5 a.m., 2 a.m., window, so it affects the handle. But yeah, we were way up there. I mean, 2,500, unbelievable upset. Some of these soccer games, you could just see the U.S., they looked like they were playing so well yesterday and dominating, and before you know it, the game's tied. So World Cup is very unique. It's like the NHL playoffs, very similar to where if you get in, you have a distinct chance and a possibility. And that was just such a shock that Argentina goes down. Definitely one of the group favorites, the tournament favorites, taking tons of action, have fabulous superstar players on that team. And they faltered, so another big upset. Handle was okay. We've been getting a steady stream. Mostly the U.S. games are the focal point at my shop because everybody wants to root for America and, support their country. So we have some excellent handle. South Point, I know, has great handle. So we'll see how it plays out, Charles.
All right, 2 massive college football games this weekend, and I want to ask about Ohio State, Michigan is the obvious one with huge playoff implications there. And then the other one is one that LSU fans will be watching very closely now with Notre Dame and USC, with the Trojans a real threat now to be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, definitely. Now, all of a sudden, the whole complexion has changed. But, they're going to try and do everything they can to probably sneak Alabama in again.
Don't hush. I won't hear it. No way.
Even a 34-0 victory over Austin Peay is somewhat flashy, I guess, to the coalition, where meanwhile it beats nothing.
No
but
chance.
LSU got the job done. There's definitely going to be some parity down the stretch here. This Ohio State-Michigan game, though, is the focal point of the weekend, without a doubt, in my opinion. We're going to just have some awesome handle on this game. And, we opened the game at 8, I believe. And, we're sitting with good two-way action. So I don't think that this is going to be, where they just lopsidedly bet one side, especially both teams coming off that adverse last weekend. It was very strange. So opened it at 8, sitting at 8. I'm looking at the computer right now. I'm anticipating all teasers and parlays and parlay cards are going to be hooked to either side of this game. And a lot of people will be taking, Charlie, big points. I mean, you could get 14 points right now with, a team that relatively can compete with Ohio State. So I'm going to see how the handle goes. So far, it's been the major attraction. It will be, but you have so much football to play before, Charlie. We have the Friday card, which is just synonymous with massive matchups and massive handle. Everybody has that huge weekend here in Las Vegas. And even games like UCLA-Cal, rivalry games like that will take some good handle. Baylor, Texas, North Carolina, and North Carolina State. We are looking for a great weekend at the Rampart and South Point. But I think Michigan has a chance. I would definitely be looking to tease this team up to the 14-point range.
What do you think about USC Notre Dame?
USC Notre Dame, definitely another big game. I think we're going to get a lot of USC action. They were able to actually, it seemed like UCLA's quarterback was a turnover machine in that game over the weekend, Charlie. Every time he put the ball in the air, it wasn't even close. And, USC should have thoroughly dominated, but they really didn't. And I was surprised. I thought they would have, put the game away. It wouldn't have been as close. We have opened this game at the Rampart and South Point at 5.5. I could see it getting close to a touchdown. I see a lot of other shops have it at 6. We're still at 5.5, but it's going to get up there because USC, the close proximity to Vegas, and the flashy victory last weekend definitely helps their resume. Well, Notre Dame has played some fabulous games this year. Don't get me wrong. They've come out of nowhere to start to garner some wins and make this a competitive game.
All right, Thanksgiving Day, we got some high-profile teams. Nothing to get the focus going for the Buffalo Bills like spending a week in Detroit. There's nothing else to do. You feel you can focus in on football. They play the Lions early. Cowboys and Giants is a terrific matchup in the middle game, and then Patriots against the Vikings. And Dwayne, I thought that Dallas's win against Minnesota on Sunday was the single most dominant game most impressive win that I had seen all year in the NFL. So there's a lot of intrigue, a lot of storylines for the Thanksgiving card.
Yeah, definitely, Charlie. And the Cowboys really established themselves. And, you could see with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, that's the combination they need. If they could ever add Beckham, I mean, this could be an awesome offense. Dak Prescott only had 2 incompletions this weekend, and that was a distinct message on the road. You're playing a solid team there. That's an 8-1 team, and they made them look like a high school team. It was the single most dominating victory this season. They have to keep that momentum going, especially against the Giant team that's coming off a big loss against Detroit. And, I always say the Giants, they really overplayed this year. That's such a credit to the coaching staff. I'm still not sold on Daniel Jones. Saquon was the MVP of this team thus far through this portion of the season. Dallas already beat them. Now you're going home on Thanksgiving. This is a big game for Dallas to keep the momentum going. You do not want to slip up here, especially with the Eagles getting lucky again last weekend and getting that victory against the Colts, who just find ways to lose games. The Bills, yes, the focus is right there. The whole focus, though, is Allen's health and how long is this man going to stay healthy and if he could continue through to the playoff drive. You still have a lot of competition in this division. Miami is playing at a high level. They're coming off a rest bye week, so, they're playing a pathetic team. They're a 12.5, 13-point favorite. They're going to be tough to beat. The Patriots, they were able to dominate the Jets once again with their defense. The Jet offense looked silly in the second half, so a lot of pressure on Buffalo. I think they'll make a statement. Might not cover, but they're going to win this game. And on the other hand, just like we just talked about, Belichick and Mac Jones starting to get on the same page. I mean, the offense, it was difficult because you really couldn't throw the ball in those conditions last weekend. But still, Mac Jones outperformed Zach Wilson by a long, long run. And you do have that two-prong running attack. Belichick this time of the season gets really hyper-intelligent, and the Vikings usually lose on the primetime stage. They got to rectify, and get that loss out of their heads, Charlie. That could play on you, even though you're a lock for this division. You don't want to, start losing games in bunches.
Feel like Sunday night is kind of the Packers' last stand. They got to go to Philadelphia. If they lose this game, they're 4-8. They may be done anyway, but if they're going to make any kind of run, this is a game that they could make a statement. All right, that one more rally, and Aaron Rodgers puts up the numbers. If they were to upset Philadelphia, I think people would, it would breathe some life back into them and give them a fighting chance. If they lose, I think they're done. Eagles are a touchdown favorite at home against Green Bay.
Yeah, the Eagles are a much better team, I'll be honest with you. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, look at the stats this year, Charlie. They're just pathetic. I mean, you're only averaging 237 yards passing. That's 18th in the NFL. And you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. Now, granted, the depth chart at wide receiver is somewhat pathetic. Aaron Jones performs sometimes good, sometimes not. A.J. Dillon has seen a large portion of time. You have Watson, who definitely has some flashes of brilliance, but he's very young. The Eagles, that was a big morale booster last weekend, beating the Colts, coming off that thrashing by Washington. And as long as Hurts stays healthy and you have that A.J. Brown connection, they are the better team, in my opinion. So I definitely think that we're going to take a lot of Philadelphia handle in this game. I mean, we opened it at 7.5, and I could see it, coming back down to the key number. But it's going to be difficult because week in, week out, you think the Packers are ready to break out. And other than the McCarthy incentive that I want to call it, and Dallas basically, they crapped that game away. They just didn't score in the fourth quarter and the overtime. McCarthy made that poor decision, and, before you know it, you're losing. So definitely this is an important game for Green Bay. But, we're down to 7. I think that's where it's going to hover, but I think the Eagles are the better team, Charlie. So I could see a lot of teasers being hooked to the Eagles in this game on Sunday night, only laying 1. If you like that 7-point teaser, pick them.
Your guys go crazy when the Raiders won. I was on them this past weekend. I said these are 2 of the worst coaches in the league, but I think the Broncos coach, little bit worse than the Raiders coach, not much. Exciting game, terribly played, but cashed tickets. So they're still with the Raiders. They're still holding on there.
Yeah, we had a little more two-way action, but Denver is just terrible. And Hackett, he should just, I think he's going to be fired probably.
Worst coach I've ever seen. Worst NFL coach I've ever seen. I'm not joking.
Right.
And McDaniels is not a lot better, but he is the worst that I've seen.
He is, and he's making Russell Wilson look like, I don't even know. He's terrible. I mean, Russell is just
he's crushed Russell Wilson. He's crushed the whole team. Yeah. I mean, they're awful. They're awful.
Yes, the offense has lost their way. And when the Raiders are coming to beat you, you know that definitely you have to start looking in the mirror, especially like we said, McDaniel ain't much better, but at least they have Carr and Adams. We're seeing a lot of Las Vegas action this week as we open the game at 4.5, and now it is down to 3.5, which is shocking because Seattle's a really solid football team and playing a good brand of football and looking to make a playoff run. So, yeah, we're seeing a lot of Raider backing still. They're holding on. When you see Adams score that winning touchdown, it just, we have a chance. We have a chance. So, the public is definitely strong here in Las Vegas. Vegas strong. They back their Knights. They back their Raiders. They back the world champion WNBA franchise, the Aces. So, this is a sports town now all of a sudden, not just gambling, Charlie, but sometimes it interferes with smart gambling. I definitely take Seattle if it goes down to 3, but 3.5 may even be enough for me to bet them. I like Seattle's chances here. It's the same old Raiders. Keep that in mind.
Colucci, have a great Thanksgiving. As always, we appreciate it. Enjoy the holiday. I know you'll be working a lot, but get a good meal. I know Mama Colucci's going to have it all laid out there for you, that Italian-themed Thanksgiving. Thanks a lot, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, definitely, Charlie. Happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody out in Baton Rouge and the South. I love you guys. And, yeah, we're going to have some sausage and some macaroni, maybe a little turkey.
Not bad. Thanks, Colucci. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll get you an update on LSU basketball down the Cayman Islands. That's next. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
Our friends over at Big Mike's are opening for Thanksgiving. They open at 6 p.m. Live music by Byron Boujol for Thanksgiving. They are also open late after the Denham Springs Ruston game this Friday. Jackets won in exhilarating fashion with less than a second to go, a field goal for them up in North Louisiana. They play Ruston this Friday. Restaurant, family-friendly, open after the game late against after Denham Springs plays Ruston. Gift card specials going on right now as we get into the holidays. You purchase $30 in gift cards, you get $5 off your next visit. If you go 50, you get 10 off, and 100 will get you $20 off your next visit at Big Mike's. Happy hour drink prices all day on Sunday for the NFL. The Saints and the Niners play in the second window at 3:25. Big Mike's on Aspen and Denham Springs. We're kind of a big deal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, quick update before we hand you over to Hunt Palmer. LSU leading Akron 20-16. Tigers came out hot from three-point range, hitting 4 of their first 6. Early on, Adam Miller leads the way with 6 points. 4 of the 5 Tiger starters have scored. 8:40 to go in the first half. LSU 20 and Akron 16. Tomorrow, first class, second class, no class. Scott Rabelais with us and the Brian Kelly media conference with the SEC. For all of us here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, I'm Charles Hannegriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
All the business owners that I've talked to recently are complaining about staffing issues. Tiger Labor and Staffing can take care of a lot of the legwork for you, give you a chance to get back to work and focus on your goals. You know, they do the interviews, the background checks, they take care of your payroll expenses, screening, training, and you know what? It's going to make an end to all of those times where you scheduled interviews, people didn't show, people showed up not ready to work. Tiger Labor and Staffing handles the interview process and the onboarding as well. So if you need somebody for a day, a week, or a month, you can control your labor expenses. There's good flexibility here as well. If you need somebody in the holiday season, you want to increase your staff's seasonal employees, they'll help you there. They lower your employment risk with a temp to hire option of only 60 days. That's the lowest in the industry. Tiger Labor and Staffing, get your work done without the worries. Success begins with the eye of the tiger. Go to tigerlabor.com.